Okay, Islam, my Moorish American Nation family, Islam Sheikh Doing Bey Islam. It is June the 15th, 2023, and this is the time 6:06 p.m. So I just left Whole Foods. I turned on the recorder and I recorded from the time I turned this on my walk from Whole Foods here in Annapolis, Maryland. I apologize. My nose is a little stuffy because I am harmonizing with it's not, I don't like to do that too much, but I'm harmonizing with lemon tea and lime tea with turmeric. So I'm trying, I still have my Burger King uniform. In other words, I try not, because I believe it or not, for whatever reason, a lot of people in Annapolis, they just do like this. And I don't know if because of the word Mason and 3 being spoke of quite a bit. I don't know what kind of ritual those, not everyone, but you know, those that might be doing it, what kind of communication they're trying to give to one another. You know, they pulling up their pants and doing like this, and then they're like, you know, like this. You know, I just don't know. So not all. Some, you know, they probably just literally like me, just, you know, either trying to look basically decent or whatever, or their pants is falling down, they try to pull up their pants and put the, you know, tighten up the belt, or not if they have a belt, or maybe if they're moving around and their car or their chair, maybe they're just trying to get comfortable. But nonetheless, so I was at Whole Foods. It's June the 15th, 2023. I usually go there before. Sometimes I go earn money at Burger King, or after. This is, I mean, it's a ritual. It's what I usually do, and to get food. So I was usually what I do is put all the food in a basket. Lately I've been checking out myself because I usually do more than one transactions, and I have my reasons why I'm doing it that way. So and instead of holding up the line behind me, because I've done that before when I decided to start using doing different transactions, instead of holding up people, you know, where a cashier is actually taking my order, there are people waiting in line. I just go to the safe. There's self checkouts and do it myself. And I usually try to go close to where the person that works for Whole Foods is nearby, so they can see what's happening, or I just show them. And I just say, look, I'm here for a little while, just a little while more. I'm doing more than 1 or 2 transactions. So anyway, so, and then after I finish checking out, I usually put everything in the basket, go to one of the tables on the side, and put the food, take everything out the basket. And usually I have Whole Foods bags that I brought, so I don't use too many paper bags. But sometimes I don't bring enough. So like today I only brought 3, and I probably should have brought 6. But Whole Foods bags, I have like maybe 7 or 8 Whole Foods bags that I use over and over and over and over again. I'll put them in the washer, wash them, and use them again. But so that's what I was doing. I was taking out all the groceries, placing them on the table at Whole Foods, and getting ready to. I was trying to separate them so that my walk. The reason why I bring so many bags is because I walk, and I'm trying to protect the weight on my shoulders and my back, and I'm walking. So, and I've learned to do this. Before a lot of times I would just put so much up there, and I'm like walking, having to stop, you know. So I'm trying to maintain a healthy back. That's the main reason. And shoulders and so forth, my health. So a pale skinned male, as I was doing this, he I'm literally, I would say maybe 2 or 3 steps away from me. He was just like something about asking a simple question. At first I didn't think he was talking to me, but he just kept saying that. He was looking at me, and there was no one else around. And I said, the first thing, and I forgot, and so it happened so fast, and I wasn't recording, and I didn't have my recorder on. I said, don't talk to me. I said, and he just kept saying, and then I'm pretty sure he used the word death. I told him, I said, don't talk to me. You sound mentally ill, like something's wrong with you. Like something's mentally off. I said, mentally ill, mentally unstable, something's wrong. And then he used the word either kill or death, or like he is saying, like he put it in a phrase like something might happen if this happened, in reference to kill or death. I'm not sure, but that's when I said, let me take out. Then he went and sat down in front of the laptop again. I've seen him there before, sitting in front of the laptop, and I took out and when he started saying that, I said, let me take out my tablet and record this while he's here. And then I looked around as I was recording. After the first time the tablet went off by itself, I think I touched something. The second time I turned it off. But I looked around, and one of the Whole Foods employees, she looked like she would be considered pale skin, was like across. She was just looking at him, as in watching him to see what he was going to do. So there were witnesses, okay, with him doing that. And so it wasn't there plus Whole Foods has a camera. He wouldn't look up after I took my tablet and I had turned my recorder on. He just kept looking at his laptop. And so when I took my tablet out, I said Imani Gray and I, we don't know anyone personally here in Annapolis, Maryland. We don't know any humanoid robots. We don't know any laboratory experiments. We don't know anyone here, period, personally here. If they say, or anyone that's in the United States Navy, Army, or military. As naturalized Moors, we don't know anyone personally here. If they say they know us personally, they're lying. So, and I made sure I said that. I said, we don't know any humanoid robots. We don't know any laboratory experiments. Also, I made a statement, and I'm going to make sure I say it again, because I've been noticing, like, pale skins, not just pale skins, but more so now, pale skins saying they did it instead of those that are melanated that speak Spanish and African American. Saying they did it, or it seems like they're saying they did it, like they get like a program, like out of the blue, they did it. They drive by and look like they mouthing like that. So what I brought up a few moments ago, as I was walking, is so many about the different incidents and crimes in reference to those that are pale skinned and African American, and the TV or the news call it a race crime, dealing with some type of crime, murder, rape, because of someone's supposedly race. And what I am saying is that every single situation is not about race. What I'm saying is these pale skins in Annapolis predominantly was starting to engage males after, when I kept documenting about the African American males and females engaging, hearing their accents around the room, hearing the word military. Okay, so I documented about the black male. It's just like the police officer that knocked on the door. I had just got through documenting about this African American male, black Negro, according to constitutional law, on the bus. He kept talking about how you gonna kill somebody in the Bronx. And as I documented, maybe 20-30 minutes later, I don't know, approximately, someone was knocking on the door, and it was the police office in Annapolis, and they said somebody from New York called saying that I was talking about killing someone. It was two pale skinned police officers. So what I'm saying is that yes, there are situations that definitely where you have murder, rape of women, melanated women that are Moors or in the status of African American, and so forth, dealing with pale skins, males. But what I'm telling you, Sheik Dwayne Balfour Bay, my Moorish American Nation and family, is knowing that we among some type of lab experiments, and they have different bodies. So they can be a lab experiment. If you know we're among humanoid robots, you know we're among other forms of lab experiments. And to think possibly that the pale skin and the African American that are considered to be humanoid robots or lab experiments collaborating together. Okay, so the African American male is upset and female is upset, or trying, not upset, that is too emotional, but want to implement sex trafficking. That's way too emotional. But want to implement some form of sex trafficking. It collaborates with the pale skin that is unnatural. That's just like it. We're gonna call it a Negro, okay? Because the Negro, what I remember, I could be wrong. Also, not saying all that is under that status as Negro is it or unnatural, but I'm saying there are a Negro species that is not considered human, collaborating together, using the word Mason and 3 to commit crimes or to create a lawsuit because they cannot sex traffic the way they want to or breed. Because thinking if there is some form of humanoid robot which was created, or some type of lab experiment which was created, then that which created them is definitely in that state of mind of breeding. Like dogs, like you have different like little dogs that they just kept breeding over and over again to get different form of the wolf. They say the dog came from the wolf, and then from that dog there was another form of a dog and another form of a dog and another form of a dog. So now you have little bitty dogs that came from the original form of the wolf. Like they say, the husky, it has some of the wolf in it still, they say. Or horses, breeding horses from the original form of the horse. So what I'm saying is breeding in reference to creating lab experiments and humanoid robots existing, obviously, because you have people that are mongoloid that speak that are demonstrating themselves to be from China, speaking about gene manipulation. So just because they're talking about it now doesn't mean that it hasn't been going on for a long time. So what in my situation, because of what I experienced in Annapolis, I'm not an isolated case, because if these African Americans that are, not all are unnatural or unclean, but I'm saying there are two types. There are those that are under status African American, black, and Negro, that is in a natural form and haven't claimed a nationality. But there is a form of a Negro, like the pale skin Negro, or those that speak Spanish from Mexico, South Central America, or others from India. It's a species, it's a it that definitely exists. And if you don't, if like you question it, listen to the feedback in the room when I'm taking a shower. It's like, what is that noise? What is that noise? So, if they're collaborating together because they cannot sex traffic, and then I hear them say your son is like threatening to do something to Imani because the African, that which is demonstrating themselves to be black African American, but is some type of lab experiment, and a female wants Imani, and then they start threatening to do something to Imani, then that's the issue. And so if they can use a pale skin that's just like it, collaborate with it, and then after the pale skin male do something, whether it's using some type of frequency to harm or send forth sharp pains to Imani or my head, using different forms of the vibration, sound, to send forth sharp pains to my genitals, Imani genitals, make us cough, whatever they can do Because if they're able to do different forms of lab experiments, they can manipulate sound and cause harm, because it's energy. They're waves, sound waves. So they can threaten to do such things. It's like, if you're not with a brother, we're gonna threaten, we're gonna do something to Imani, or she love your son, and if you don't allow her to be with your son, we're gonna do something to you or him. Now I know that sounds crazy and irrational, but if you look at the history of my documentation and then listen to the feedback, okay, do you know it's not crazy? So many times I would say this when I would document about the Black Negro African American, especially in reference to the United States military and Navy, Army. The pale skin will start engaging even more, saying good morning as I walk by. Hi, good morning. Even had a couple of them say, can I give you a ride? This is through the years. It was a female, pale skin female. So and it just so happened not too long ago, a few months back, a Black Negro looked like the one that comes into Burger King that sits with another. I'm not sure if he claimed a nationality. This is just a description. African American Black Negro sits with another regular. Looks like him. I don't know if it's him. But sits with another regular that used to sit at the table with the rest of the African American Black Negro males, predominantly, that implied to be connected to the United States Navy, Army, or was in the United States Navy, Army, and military. I was walking and he was like, he kept following me. He kept beeping his horn loud in front of everybody, like he had the right to do so. And I kept going. And I was jogging and walking. Then he pulls up next to me and pulls his window down. His window was down. Still said, "Can I give you a ride?" And I took out my towel. I said, "What makes you think you don't know me? Why would you do?" I kept going after you were beeping your horn so loud. I don't know you. You don't know me. Why would you follow me just to ask me, "Can you give me a ride?" So what I'm saying is, my Moorish American nation and family, is I used to hear more speak of this, or I should say conscious at the time they were in the status of African American Black Negro, like I was in the status before I claimed my nationality. They would speak of blacks, African Americans. They said the least ones you would expect would be the ones that will collaborate with, they call it the white man, but they didn't go into depths of what kind of white man it was. But they were like, you would not think that blacks or African American, so they were hinting at there was different forms of blacks and pale skins that are working together and perform different rituals of murder, rape. They definitely didn't say humanoid robots, but we know they exist now. And they were saying, and they just kept speaking about them. They gave them different names, and they were saying they would do it. Some of them would kill their children and do for organs and so forth. But they would definitely say that they were in some type of set. The word Mason did come up lots of times, and so, or different forms of that word Mason. But they didn't talk about the different species of its or laboratory experiments that exist. And that is collaborating together to do different rituals of harm, rape, creating false crime, false racial incidents, saying all of a sudden, because if you have masses of people who are used to a program of oppression, so it would be easy for the TV and those who do not investigate, or because of AI being on TV, robots, being involved in the whole lie creates just say it was a racial situation, and that's what it's going to be. And so you have those that do know and those that don't know, that are in the status of African American, marching. And it had absolutely nothing to do with race, because the black Negro, that's a it or experiment, and the pale skin, that's a it, that is an experiment, was together all along doing certain rituals, blood sacrifices, and causing harm, and playing off the program or the false reality of people, or the ignorance of people not knowing that they exist. And that all along, they've been doing it together all along. And so, in this situation, Annapolis, definitely, when I see pale skins, especially males, engaging constantly, after I document about African American males, and how the African American males keep saying brother, looking at me brother, it's like you better be with a brother. And the black females saying I'm brother, and all the stuff I had to document about the black Negro, you already know something is odd. No, I can't say all of them are it's. I can't say everyone that says, I'm not saying everyone that says brother is a lab experiment. No way. I can't say that, because some more say brother. But I'm telling you, in Annapolis, that's what's going on with some of the situations I'm experiencing. They're not human. They are not human. And what the thought should be is, why do they feel it's okay? Why do they think they're gonna get away with it? Especially with the United States Navy, Army, and the police so prevalent in Annapolis. You see the United States military all around Annapolis. The police driving around, parking. I see them, just parking literally right in front of me. So why would these laboratory experiments feel like they could get away with any form of harassment? Laboratory experiments that are African American, black, Negro, pale skin, those that speak Spanish from South Central America, wherever it may be, why would they think they could get away with any form of criminal activity in Annapolis with the United States Navy, Army that's supposed to be naturalized to uphold laws of freedom? So prevalent. If I was a criminal, the last place I would think of to do anything that's harmful would be in a city where the naturalized military exists, that respects the blood that was shed for freedom. Islam. So anyway, what I did was I just left Whole Foods, but I definitely I started eating. I stood there after the first recording. I stood there for a moment and just looked around at the people, because I'm like, I couldn't believe the pale skinned male behaved this way and felt it was okay in front of so many people in Annapolis at Whole Foods. I mean, I've seen some of the workers at Whole Foods wearing Navy shirts. It looked like that's what they had on. So it definitely implied that they're connected to the military somehow. Islam. So I'm documenting. I'm definitely going to tweet this. So I'm glad that I have the thoughts to record as a naturalized Moor who have who have affirmed to uphold constitutional laws of freedom. In Monterey Bay, Arrington-Bey, we have been naturalized to affirm to uphold constitutional laws of freedom. All four of Abraham Lincoln's proclamations. I am thankful, because I truly didn't know. I had no idea. Because I didn't know that there was any type of lab experiments existing. Humanoid robots. I didn't know that they exist, just like masses of people when I'm not saying all the situations that happen in reference to them calling it a race situation is a lie. What I'm saying is that some of them, because with me experiencing what I experienced, some of them I would think back and have to question what really happened. Why are they saying Black Lives Matter so much? And how do you know that was the situation for them to keep saying Black Lives Matter? Islam?